This is the Tree of Life, Season 24, Chapter 3. In this episode, we will be talking about the supraspatial dimensionality of consciousness. In Season 24, Chapter 1, we talked about supraspatial edges, which are aspects of an artifact, that is, the product of sublimation, which reflect interactions between subjects that are beyond their linear experience. To reiterate, under tautology or hierarchy, in reverse substitution, consciousness flows into a vessel according to a determined priority. That is, in tautology, the trendsetter, that is, he or she who has already acquiesced and integrated an impulse, flows into the vessel of the next and so on and so forth, becoming the incoming consciousness. That is, the flow of consciousness is in the direction away from the execution of some goal-oriented action. In hierarchy, the priority is reversed, such that the lower in hierarchy flows into the vessel of the higher, becoming the incoming consciousness, and completing the acquiescence for the higher. But, we also saw that in negation, at the conclusion of a reverse substitution event, the incoming consciousness becomes an object referential to the vessel. Thus, during the decoherence period, caused by the lack of integration of the impulse, we see the incoming consciousness acting on the vessel through these supraspatial edges, manifesting as weak phase linking, or the flipping of phase of affirmational or negational bodily rhythms. Since this history is within the decoherence period, it is erased both prospectively and retrospectively from the linear experience of both the incoming and outgoing consciousness. But it reveals the supraspatial dimensionality of these consciousnesses beyond that linear experience, whilst also demonstrating that this supraspatial dimensionality is continuous with that linear experience. Thus, supraspatial edges within an artifact reflect routing of supraspatial dimensionality through the affirmational and negational bodily rhythms. This routing is linked to weak phase linking on the boundary of the substitution event, reflecting compelled phase flips by authority, reconciliation or force. In Season 24, Chapter 1, we talked about the controllers intervening within the system by way of these supraspatial edges. But it is more accurate to say that in supraspatial dimensionality, through weak phase linking, we see that these higher dimensionality beings may in fact be unaware of their involvement in a linear sense. Likewise, since we saw that the degeneration of an artifact during some substitution period window is reliant on the decoherence period, if you eliminate the decoherence period, the degeneration ends without reaching consensus. That's the end of the podcast for today.